Part 160. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1591. Chapter 1591 Mother and Son Meet 3. Xianying looked a bit dumbfounded. He looked down at himself. Did he look that scary? Xianying had no choice but to call the translator over in a loud voice. This translator was the translator he invited to communicate with many local dialects in Africa. There are many tribes in South Africa, and the communication between many tribes is different. It is still very difficult to find people just relying on their language knowledge. Translated, he said to Gina's mother with a smile. "Hello, we don't mean any harm. We are here to find someone. Have you ever seen a child with yellow skin?" Upon hearing this, Gina's mother looked at them more warily. The person they are talking about cannot be little Mickey. Little Mickey has yellow skin and is a child. Gina's mother did not believe what they said immediately, and still guarded her child vigilantly. Men from other tribes had already come over and stood in front of Gina and the others. Little Gina whispered to her mother. "Mom, are these people here to see little Mickey? Are they the same people who brought little Mickey here in the first place? Little Mickey has been here for a month." From the language barrier at the beginning, to understanding some tribal languages and having simple conversations, he already knows some of the reasons why little Mickey appears here. "Keep your voice down, don't be heard by them. They may be the ones who kidnapped little Mickey. They may come here to find little Mickey to take people away." "Ah, then we must not let them know that little Mickey is here with us. I want to protect little Mickey." "Well, good daughter." Gina's mother touched her daughter and still looked at them warily. The translator came forward and asked about little Mickey again. He was afraid that they would not understand, but he spoke very carefully. Gina's mother shook her head in denial. "We don't have the little boy you mentioned here." Gina's mother thought about it a lot, but didn't tell them about little Mickey. "Why are you looking for a little boy?" But he still tentatively asked why they were looking for little Mickey. What if these people were good people? Little Mickey always wanted to go home when he was with them, but due to the backward transportation here, it was the first time he met so many outsiders, and they all had cars. She now needs to find out if they are bad people, even if the person they are looking for is not little Mickey. If little Mickey rides in their car, they may be able to find his parents. "My employer's child has been lost, and we are looking for it. Perhaps you have heard of any surrounding tribes that have children." The translator translated Xianying's words to Gina's mother again. "We don't know this." "Okay. Thank you." Xianying bowed to them, and then told them if he could let them rest for a few days. The people of the black tribe did not agree or deny, but asked them to go aside and not to disturb them at will. Gina's mother knew that they would not leave immediately, but she was happy and decided to help little Mickey inquire about them. At the same time, I am also glad that little Mickey has not been in the tribe recently, but has gone to other tribes to find out how to get back. It may take a few days before he comes back. Xianying and the others were stationed nearby. Qian Yuman rested in the RV and didn't wake up until very late. It was because she was hungry. When she heard the sound of laughter and laughter coming from outside, she felt her stomach and climbed out of the car. She saw Qian Yuman. Ying and the others were drinking and chatting by the fire not far away. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1592. Chapter 1592 Mother and Son Meet 4. The sky has darkened, but no one has gone to bed yet. The Aboriginal people who were originally wary of Xianying and his gang gradually relaxed their vigilance towards them. Xianying is a cheerful boy, and it is easy for people to like him. Although there are some problems with verbal communication, the relationship has eased with his constant closeness. Especially since they are all from developed countries, they have many items that primitive tribesmen have never seen or even heard of. Even if it was just a bottle of Coke, they would be as curious as if they had drunk nectar. Not to mention computers that can play movies and other high technologies. These high technologies can be used accidentally to arouse the curiosity of many Aborigines. In just one day, he gained the favor of many Aborigines. However, they were still somewhat wary, and everyone knew that they were looking for a little boy, probably little Mickey. Little Mickey has lived here for a month and is the most favored child in the entire tribe. His smart brain and advanced knowledge from developed countries are simply magical existences in backward tribes. Little Mickey's brain is much smarter than that of ordinary children. In addition, he has loved reading books since he was a child. His knowledge is unparalleled by the local Aborigines. Every time he has some magical knowledge and practices, the black people in the tribe are greatly surprised. Over time, he became the most favored baby. Knowing that Xianying and others were living in Little Mickey, these Aborigines didn't mention anything about Little Mickey until they were sure whether they were good people. So until now, Xianying and the others don't know that Little Mickey has been living in the past month inside this tribe. Even they believed in the Aborigines in the tribe. Little Mickey had never appeared here. The reason why he chatted with them was just to have a pleasant life here these days. Qianyuman, who was looking good, stepped out of the RV and saw Xianying chatting and laughing while eating local barbecue, and walked over with a smile. "Is there any share for me?" As soon as Qianyuman walked over, the Aboriginal people were stunned and looked at the stunningly beautiful woman stupidly. They had never seen such a beautiful woman in the world. They were very surprised when Murong 11 appeared. They did not expect to see her again. A woman appeared who was more beautiful than Murong 11. The point is, at just one glance, they could tell that Qianyuman looked very much like Little Mickey, almost carved out of the same mold. Thinking back to the fact that Xianying and others were looking for their son, and looking at Qianyuman, they were almost certain that the child they were looking for was Little Mickey. Qianyuman looked at the shocked expressions of these black people depressedly and touched his face uncomfortably. "Is there anything wrong with me?" Qianyuman looked at Xianying. Xianying shook his head in confusion. "No. You are still so beautiful today," Xianying said sweetly. "Then why do they look at me in shock, as if they've seen a ghost?" Feeling a little hungry, Qianyuman walked over in a contorted manner, snatched the food from Xianying's hand, and ate it with big mouthfuls. Qianyuman had just eaten a few mouthfuls when a little girl ran over, pulling Qianyuman and saying something unknown. For a language genius, she couldn't understand the words of the primitive African tribe at all, and she looked confused. Were they not allowed to eat? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dowby in the World. Chapter 1593. Chapter 1593 Mother and Son Meet 5. Do I need permission to eat their barbecue? What she grabbed was the food in Xianying's hand, so that shouldn't be the case. What are they doing? Qianyuman said, somewhat dumbfounded. Xianying also shrugged in confusion. When the translator was not around, he managed to communicate through body language. The translator had just gone to rest, so he also looked confused. Are you not going to let me eat? Or are you going to give me more delicious food? Qianyuman smiled and smelled the little black girl. The little black girl was Gina. She was extremely shocked when she saw Qianyuman. She once heard Little Mickey say that his mother was the most beautiful woman in the world. She looked exactly like him. He completely inherited her mother's traits. Beautiful, so when little Gina saw Qianyuman, she ran over in shock, pulling Qianyuman and kept talking. Are you here to find your son? Little Gina asked a lot of questions. Qianyuman still smiled softly and could not understand the meaning of Gina's words. Don't be anxious. Jian Yuman patted Gina's face, which was red because of her anxiety. Huh, she doesn't understand what I'm saying. I really want to know if she is little Mickey's mother, Gina murmured to herself. Jian Yuman, who had a gentle smile on her face just a moment ago, suddenly opened her eyes and grabbed Gina's novel. What did you just say, little Mickey? Although the language is incomprehensible, the pronunciation of the names is still very similar, especially the words Little Mickey. The pronunciation of the words Little Mickey was exactly the same as what they said after Little Mickey specially corrected it. Jian Yuman became extremely excited when she heard the words Little Mickey from Gina's mouth. She was afraid that the word Little Mickey she said was the language of the tribe, which happened to be exactly the same as the Chinese name for Little Mickey. Not really what she was telling her son. Little Mickey. Gina nodded excitedly and said these words repeatedly, realizing that these words were Little Mickey's name, plus a few simple words that Little Mickey had given her before. Little Mickey, Mom. Gina spoke in Chinese and excitedly grabbed Jian Yuman's hand. Yes, I am Little Mickey's mother. Jian Yuman pointed to her own and nodded wildly, very excited. Have you finally found Little Mickey? Is Little Mickey here? She has been looking for Little Mickey for more than a month, and has she finally found out her son's whereabouts accurately? Wow, Gina waved her hands excitedly, turned around and ran towards her mother. Mom, this person is really Little Mickey's mother. She looks exactly like Little Mickey. I confirmed it just now. It's great. Little Mickey can finally see his mother. Gina kept waving her little arms excitedly, almost flying up and dancing happily. Jian Yuman followed Gina. Due to language difficulties, she didn't know what to do for a while. Yingzhi, please call the translator. It seems that Little Mickey has been found. He may have appeared here. Okay, I'm going now. Xian Yingzhi quickly ran towards the room where the translator rested. The news about Little Mickey came unexpectedly, and he got the news about Little Mickey before he even realized it. What was speechless was that they had just told him that they didn't know about Little Mickey, but as soon as Jian Yuman showed up, they took the initiative to post about Little Mickey. Jian Yuman walked up to Gina and tried to calm down her emotions, fearing that she would scare them as soon as she opened her mouth. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1594. Chapter 1594. Mother and son meet 6. Jian Yuman walked up to Gina and tried to calm down her emotions, fearing that she would scare them as soon as she opened her mouth. But how could she not be excited when she finally got clues about her son? If it weren't for the language barrier, she would have pulled Gina to ask. The excitement did not make her lose the ability to think. Looking around, everyone looked at her curiously, but there were no other expressions. She also discovered a problem. Xian Yingzhi must have inquired about Little Mickey a long time ago, and they had not informed her of the inquiry immediately, so there must be no news. Why didn't they tell Little Mickey about his existence? It was probably because they were afraid they were bad people. But even so, if Little Mickey were here, his son would definitely look at them secretly, and it would be impossible not to show up when he saw them. Until now, Little Mickey has not been seen, which means that he is not here now, and he may have lived here for a while. But regardless of whether Little Mickey once lived here or is still here, it proves that Little Mickey is still alive and has appeared here. With clues about her son, she wished she could see him immediately and find him. Son, the son she and Mr. Tang had been looking for a long time. She has lost Mr. Tang, and can no longer live without Little Mickey. I will see my son soon. If I tell him that I don't have a father anymore, will he be very sad? Thinking of this, Jian Yuman clutched her heart sadly and frowned in pain. Since Tang Yuzhi's absence, she has suffered from heartache. The doctor couldn't find any problems, mostly because of her emotions. As long as she thinks about Mr. Tang leaving, she will be so heartbroken that she can't breathe. Tears unknowingly covered Jianyuman's face, reflecting the joy of finding little Mickey and the pain and sadness of losing Mr. Tang. Gina saw little Mickey's mother crying and worriedly wiped her tears with her somewhat dirty novel. Little Mickey's mother, don't be sad, little Mickey is fine now, he has always missed you. Although Jianyuman couldn't understand Gina's words, he could tell that she was comforting him, and felt warm in his heart. Yes. Now is not the time to be sad. She finally found her son. She should be happy instead of crying here. Wiping away her tears, Xianying had already run over with the translator. Translated, Jianyuman couldn't wait to let the translator translate her words to the primitive tribes here. I'm little Mickey's mother, have you ever seen little Mickey here? Jianyuman took out her phone and showed them the photos on her phone for confirmation. Gina nodded excitedly when she saw the phone and the photos on the phone. Are you really little Mickey's mother? This real little Mickey must be what little Mickey once told me before. Mobile phone, the last two words are still in Chinese, and little Mickey taught her. After receiving Gina's confirmation, Jianyuman and others were ecstatic, and everyone cheered. They searched for a whole month, accompanying Jianyuman to various tribes in South Africa, and finally got news about little Mickey. Can they not be happy? Jianyuman burst into tears from laughter and held the phone to her chest. I finally found you, my baby. After working hard for half a month, I finally found my son. I was looking for anti-South Africa all over the place and left South Africa disappointed, but I finally found it without any psychological preparation. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1595. Chapter 1595 Daddy came last night 1. Jianyuman asked the translator again to ask why they had not been told about little Mickey before. Gina's mother explained and confirmed their suspicion. They were right to do so. If someone else came to find little Mickey, she had nowhere to look for her son. However, I also know that little Mickey is not in the tribe at the moment. He just set off to other tribes yesterday to find out if he could leave here and go to a big city. The chief took little Mickey with him, so it would be safe for the time being. Jianyuman couldn't wait to go to other tribes to find her son. She insisted on driving to find her son, but Yunduo stopped her and said she was not allowed to go, saying that her current physical condition was not suitable for a long journey, and even if she left, it would take 2 days. As for little Mickey, he would be back in 3 days at the earliest, so the final result of the discussion was that Xianying rushed over to pick up little Mickey. Jianyuman was reluctant in various ways, but there was nothing she could do against them. They didn't agree that no one would lead the way. Even if she drove by herself, there would be no place to look for. Having no choice, Jianyuman could only argue with them in the RV. But even so, she was still in a very happy mood, holding a photo of her family, looking at things and thinking about people. Ruru slept next to her, and her daughter was tired. At such a young age, she had to run around with her, and she was stronger than her mother. Couldn't help but look at Mr. Tang again, his eyes became very gentle. Mr. Tang, I miss you so much. You haven't been in my dreams for a long time. You are really annoying. You left me cruelly. Now you don't even want to see me in my dreams. She really missed him so much that her heart ached. As she thought about it, she gradually fell into a dream. It was quiet in the dead of night, and the closed door of the RV was slowly opened. There was a tall figure squatting beside the bed, looking at the sleeping mother and daughter. His eyes became gentle. He slowly bent down and placed a kiss on both of their foreheads. I'm sorry for making you so tired and running around. I'll be back with you soon. Just wait for me a little longer. Jianyuman, who was sitting on the bed, seemed to hear something and responded lightly. Good. His eyes widened, he smiled, and slowly possessed her again, pressing a kiss on her lips. Ruru, who was beside Jianyuman, slowly opened her eyes half opened and saw the figure of the person in front of her, with a sweet smile on her lips. Daddy. Ruru opened her little hands, hugged the figure's neck, threw herself towards him, rubbed her head in his arms, found a good position, and continued to close her eyes. Ruru and Mommy miss you so much. Daughter, be good. Daddy, when will you come back? Mommy always sheds tears secretly when you are not here. Ruru feels so uncomfortable when she looks at her. Soon. Well, Daddy has decided to come back early to play with Ruru. Good. Daddy is the best. Ruru lay comfortably in his arms and gradually fell into a dream. The figure stood aside, looking at the daughter in his arms tenderly and lovingly, and gently placed her back next to Qianyuman. Qian'er, wait for me to come back. Hongyi tribe. Grandpa Chief, how are you? Is there a way to get out of here? Little Mickey looked at the Grandpa Chief who brought him here expectantly. Now he can still communicate simply, but the people from the opposite tribe speak too fast, and he is completely can't understand what they are saying. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1596. Chapter 1596. Daddy came last night too. It's a bit difficult, but it's not hopeless. In the past, there was no way. We could only follow the oldest method. It would take several months to walk to the city. However, I heard that recently, there are countless foreigners around. The reason is not very clear. If these people pass by us, they will have a way to take you away. Oh, in this case, then there is a chance, little Mickey said excitedly. No matter what, even if he knew the way, he would still walk home. Let alone a few months, even a few years, he would have to walk all the way back home to his parents. Even though Mommy has taken care of him for the past 3 years and looks very strong, she is actually a crybaby. She must have shed a lot of tears for him in the past month. If he couldn't go back, Mommy would definitely be sad to death. He didn't want to see Mommy sad. He had to go back home, no matter how difficult it was. Grandpa Chief, let's stay and rest tonight, and then set off to another tribe tomorrow night. They have seen those people driving cars before. Okay, little Mickey nodded happily. Now that there is hope, he is so excited that he can't wait to come early tomorrow. He is not sleepy at all. He obviously wants to fall asleep early. If he falls asleep, tomorrow will come early, and maybe he will be able to return home in a few days and eat the food cooked by his mother. Mommy, little Mickey misses your braised pork so much. I really miss it so much. I want to eat it. Hazy, little Mickey suddenly sat up from the bed, because his ears heard the familiar sound of an engine, which was very similar to a car engine, and the sound of tires skidding. Could it be the group of people driving cars that Grandpa Chief mentioned? Are they here? Little Mickey stood up happily and ran out quickly. He didn't even have time to put on his shoes before he ran out. When he saw the off-road vehicle slowly approaching, he jumped up from the ground happily. Wow, it's really a car. I have a chance to leave here and go back to my parents. Wow. Little Mickey kept jumping up and down happily, losing the cool look he had in the past when he was next to Qianyuman, and more in line with his actual age. The car in front of him slowly stopped not far away. Little Mickey looked expectantly at a person getting out of the car. Having seen clearly who the person was, little Mickey yelled, "Ah, Godfather!" Little Mickey rushed over quickly. Kenny, who heard little Mickey's cry, was stunned and looked in the direction of the sound in disbelief. It was pitch dark with no lights, and he could only feel a small figure rushing towards him crazily, leaving him confused. The voice sounded very much like little Mickey. Did he hear it wrong? It shouldn't be. Before Kenny could recover, little Mickey had already flown over, hugged Kenny's lap happily, and started talking non-stop. "Daddy, I miss you so much. Little Mickey misses you so much. You came to see little Mickey. It's really you. I thought it was a dream, woo woo woo. Finally I can leave the backward African tribe, and finally see my mommy, daddy, and lovely sister Ruru." Kenny looked down and, through the light of the car, finally saw the little guy holding him clearly. Little Mickey. Kenny happily squatted down, hugged little Mickey, and carefully checked his condition. He made sure again and again that he had no wounds on his body and was quite healthy. Finally, he confirmed that he had found little Mickey. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dowby in the World. Chapter 1597. Chapter 1597. Daddy came last night 3. Finally found you. Kenny happily hugged little Mickey and couldn't believe his eyes. It was not just little Mickey that was surprised. "Daddy, are you here to see me? Are you here to see me?" Little Mickey happily hugged Kenny's head and kissed him on the face several times to express his happiness. "Yes. I'm here to find you. Not only am I here, but your mommy is also here." "Mommy is here too." Little Mickey opened his mouth in surprise. "Yes. After your mother knew that you were missing, she didn't think about food all day long. After investigating, she found out that you had been in Africa for a month. She rushed over to look for you in person half a month ago. I'm worried about her. She just arrived a few days ago. Africa, I originally wanted to meet up with your mommy, but I didn't expect to find you first. It seems that your mommy's hard work for half a month is not as good as mine for a few days." Kenny found little Mickey and his mood improved. He couldn't help but hold little Mickey and joke with him. "After many days of dullness, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Little Dobby will definitely be very happy to find little Mickey and see the smile on her face again. Ah, I miss mommy so much. Mommy must be working very hard. Is daddy here too?" Kenny's smile froze on his face for a few seconds, and he didn't know whether to talk about Tanyu's accident. Although little Mickey was only 3 years old, he also understood matters of life and death. "Forget it, we just met again, so I won't tell him such a sad thing. Ruru is coming too. My sister is here too. Not only that, everyone who can come has come, and everyone has taken great pains to find you." Little Mickey was smiling from ear to ear. Knowing that everyone was anxious to find him, he came to the backward South Africa to look for him in person. How could he not be touched? His little eyes were red, and he was filled with joy in his chest, wanting to vent it out, and then he burst into laughter. "Let's go, we'll look for your mommy all night." Kenny smiled and picked up little Mickey and walked to the car. "Okay, go ahead, I'll use the satellite phone to call your mommy and tell you that I found you." Okay. Little Mickey ran to find Grandpa Chief. Kenny took out his cell phone and couldn't wait to call Tianyuman and the others. Tianyuman, who was still sleeping, heard the ringtone of her cell phone, touched the hand next to her and sat up. "Who?" Tianyuman felt as if someone suddenly left beside her. She looked around quickly and didn't see anyone. "No one, am I wrong?" Tianyuman tilted her head and looked down at the call displayed on the screen of her mobile phone. It was actually Kenny Oppa. "Why did Kenny Oba call me at 12 o'clock in the middle of the night? Is there anything urgent? A few days ago, I heard that he wanted to come over to help find little Mickey. Although she refused, he still rushed over. Could it be that someone was nearby? Hello, Appa, have you called me yet? It's not far from you, but that's not the point. I'm telling you a good thing, so don't get excited." Yeah, Tianyuman was still a little confused and had not yet completely woken up from her sleep. "I found little Mickey, he's here with me now." "What, Who? Your son, little Mickey, little friend Tang Aoken. Tang Aoken, little Mickey, her son. Wow, Kinyi Manjian screamed, causing Yun Duo, who was sitting in another car in the RV, to rush over quickly. The process took less than a few seconds. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1598. Chapter 1598 Daddy came last night for. This process is due to the sensitivity of a personal bodyguard. As long as there is a little sound from Jian Yuman's side, she will rush over. Moreover, she has not fallen asleep. She would even sit outside until dawn at night. Occasionally, she would go to Jian Yuman's RV, sleep in it for close protection. Tonight, Jian Yuman repeatedly asked her to go back to her bed to sleep. In addition, things about little Mickey have made progress, and this is a primitive tribe. Yun Duo finally went to have a good sleep. Unexpectedly, Jian Yi wanted to relax a little tonight. Something happened here. She rushed over quickly and finally breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Jian Yuman holding a phone and making a call. I thought something had happened, but luckily I saw that she was fine, otherwise how would she explain to Mr. Tang? Jian Yuman's emotions and expressions at the moment were completely out of control. Her eyes were wide open and her mouth was open enough to fit an egg in. Her eyes were red and she wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. Her expression was a bit complicated. Kindness. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jian Yuman still had the same expression, nodded blankly, and then hung up the phone, still with the same expression. Maybe she forgot to take it back. Manman, what's wrong with you? Yunduo asked with concern. Jian Yuman looked at the clouds, and then screamed. AHH. I'm so happy. Jian Yuman threw herself at Yunduo, hugged her neck happily, and laughed so crazily that she burst into tears. What's the matter? What makes you happy is that you found little Mickey. Yunduo said jokingly, but he also knew that according to the pace of Xianying, it would be impossible to reach the next tribe so quickly. Yes. I found it, I finally found it. Now I am with Kenny Oba. I didn't expect that. I have been looking for it for so long. I have found Kenny Oba since. Oba is my lucky star. I have been here since South Africa. I found little Mickey. If I had known he would come here earlier, I might have met little Mickey earlier. Jian Yuman laughed happily. Even her daughter woke up and looked at her mother, who had been laughing crazily with a blank look on her face. Mommy, what are you laughing at? Mommy is happy. Jian Yuman smiled happily and couldn't stop at all. Brother me found it, Yun Duo explained to Ruru kindly. Ruru was sleepy one moment, but immediately turned into ecstatic the next moment, jumping up and rushing into her mother's arms. I found my brother. Yes. We have found my brother. He and the others will be able to come and reunite with us tomorrow. Kenny has already driven over to them and will be able to see her son tomorrow morning. Thinking of this, she is so happy that she can't help but think about her childhood. Before Xianying finally found little Mickey, she was still a little uneasy. Unexpectedly, Kenny found him first. Everything happened so suddenly that she even felt like she was in a dream. By the way, I'm going to call Ying so that he doesn't have to rush there and comes back as soon as possible. Jian Yuman immediately called Xianying happily. Ruru looked at her mother's happy face, then thought of something, put her arms around Jian Yuman's neck, and said happily. Then our family can be reunited. Yet Jian Yuman responded softly, not realizing that what Ruru was talking about as a family was not the three of them. Ruru looked around, then tilted her head in confusion and asked. Where's Daddy? I saw him just now. Is he hiding again? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1599. Chapter 1599 Reunion of Mother and Son 1. Yunduo not far away, his body visibly trembled, and he looked around with a guilty conscience. The smile on Jianyuman's face froze for a few seconds, and she sadly hugged Ruru into her arms. Ruru is just a simple little girl. She still doesn't understand what death is. She just knows that her father is not around and will not appear in the future. For this reason, she has been crying for her father for a while. The reason why she said she saw Daddy must have been in her dream just now, just like her. "Mommy, where is Daddy?" Ruru asked, her little mouth pouting. Ruru misses Daddy so much. Daddy has been away for so long, when can he come to see Ruru? Jianyuman's tears fell uncontrollably when her daughter asked her. "Mommy, why are you crying?" Ruru reached out her little hand uncomfortably and wiped the tears from Jianyuman's face. Jianyuman smiled and shook his head. "It's nothing," Mommy just burst into tears knowing her brother was found. He held Ruru tightly in his arms and rubbed her head, feeling very uncomfortable. "Mr. Tang, I miss you so much. How are you over there?" That night, Jianyuman barely fell asleep, looking forward to seeing her son early tomorrow, and accidentally kept her eyes open until dawn. Jianyuman got up early in the morning to have breakfast and wait for little Mickey and others to come back. With Jianyuman looking forward to it, Xianying and Kenny's car finally drove over slowly and stopped not far away. Xianying rushed down quickly and shouted loudly across Jianyuman. "Yunduo, come out quickly." "What's wrong?" Jianyuman asked in confusion. Looking at his panicked look, could there be an accident? Yunduo also realized that something was wrong and rushed to Kenny's car quickly. Jianyuman looked in from the outside and saw Kenny's pale face, and froze nervously for a moment. "What's wrong with Appa?" Xianying couldn't help inside, so he came to Jianyuman and stuffed the little Mickey that had just popped out into her arms. "On the way here, a group of people suddenly rushed out and attacked us. Kenny was shot in the shoulder to protect little Mickey." "What? Someone is attacking?" Jianyuman's breath froze. The joy of meeting her son immediately was greatly reduced when Kenny was injured. Little Mickey was in Jianyuman's arms, looking up at his mother's haggard face. That little face that was much tanned was full of self-blame. "Mommy, I failed to protect myself and my godfather got hurt trying to save me." Little Mickey shed tears sadly. He should be very happy to see his mother again, but what he encountered on the way back made him feel very guilty. Being alone for more than a month made him become more like a child. He hugged Jianyuman's neck and shed tears sadly. He smelled Mommy's scent and felt at ease and uneasy. Only then did Jianyuman notice her son's low mood. She hugged him sadly and comforted him softly. "It's okay, it's just a shoulder injury. It won't be anything like that." Nearly ignoring her son's emotions, Jianyuman blamed herself a little and gently held him in her arms to comfort him. Looking at his son carefully, he saw that his fair skin had darkened a little. Over a month, he looked much stronger than his actual age. He was also more like a child, actually acting coquettishly towards her. "But it's good that my son is back, and I don't have to cry sadly when thinking about him anymore. Little Mickey, Mommy misses you so much." Jianyuman couldn't help holding her son and crying. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1600. Chapter 1600 Mother and Son Reunion 2. Jianyuman cried very sadly, which made little Mickey even more sad. However, when he saw Mommy crying, she held her mouth shut and did not continue crying, and even wiped Mommy's tears anxiously. "Mommy, don't cry, little Mickey is back, and this time little Mickey will never leave Mommy again." Little Mickey touched Jianyuman's face distressedly, and the tears fell even more fiercely. The mother and son were comforting each other and shedding tears. Ruru woke up and walked out to see her brother and mommy crying together. She also rushed over and hugged Jianyuman's thigh. Mommy, brother, wow, seeing her family members crying, she didn't know why, but she started crying too. After Kenny took out the bullet and quickly bandaged it, everything was fine. They didn't stay too long. They thanked the tribal chief and others who had taken care of little Mickey for a while, left some thank you gifts and supplies sufficient to improve their tribe's environment, and drove away. If someone dares to sneak attack Kenny and the others on the way, there will definitely be a second sneak attack. They cannot stay where they are for too long and must leave here as soon as possible. South Africa is still too dangerous. Although it is dangerous no matter where you go, their current manpower is still looking for little Mickey and is scattered everywhere. Little Mickey is found and immediately calls everyone back downtown. Be prepared to leave here at any time. They didn't need to think about it, they all knew that it was the people from the Waji organization who came forward. Even though they were jointly attacked by almost everyone, they actually dared to send people to attack little Mickey. Sitting in the car, Jianyuman took care of the injured Kenny with a look of remorse. Little funny boy, sit down and rest quickly, I only injured my shoulder, it's just a minor injury. Jianyuman shook his head and sighed deeply. Appa. This is the second time. Last time you were injured because of me, and this time you were injured because of little Mickey. Can you protect yourself next time? Got it? Kenny smiled and nodded. Seriously, I feel sad every time I see you hurt. Isn't it okay? Stop frowning. Kenny stretched out his hand to smooth her wrinkled forehead. What I'm doing is nothing. I just want you to be faster. During this time, you don't smile very much. Even if you smile, it doesn't reach your eyes. Do you know how distressed I am? Every time he sees the current Jianyuman, he will feel uncomfortable for several days. In his memory, the little funny boy who was always happy turned out to be melancholic and unlucky. He was worried all day long. He just wanted her to be happy every day. But the pain of losing a husband cannot be healed so easily. Sometimes he has no other choice but to worry. Appa, everything will pass. Jianyuman smiled brightly, trying to smooth it over with a smile, but in Kenny's eyes, it was still so vicissitudes of life. Jianyuman clearly understood that the pain of losing Tanyuj could not be diluted in this life, but could only be hidden deep in her heart. The car was driving quickly on the road back to where it was lost, and all preparations for the retreat were already waiting for planes and cars. At the fastest speed, it takes a day to drive to the city center. During this day and night, everyone was very vigilant, fearing that problems would arise midway. Little Mickey, who finally returned to Jianyuman, became much more lively and cheerful. He hugged Jianyuman and kept talking about the interesting things that happened during this period. As he talked, he suddenly realized that someone was missing. Mommy, where's the white egg daddy? End of this chapter.